Welcome, everybody. This is Jim Master, your host, and we are here for a special episode remembering the remarkable life of an extraordinary person and an extraordinary talent, Lisa Marie Presley, who we know passed away just a few days ago at the age of 54 suddenly. We have a very special friend of the Jim Masters Show live series. Scot Lukas is returning to our program, celebrity fashion stylist to the stars and designer. He's been a guest on our show several times. He's a big fan of our show as well, but also knew Lisa Marie Presley and had incredible conversations and so much more. And along with so many others, he's been grieving, and he's actually been on several media outlets who've been turning to him for, his feelings and thoughts about the sudden passing of Lisa Marie Presley, of course, daughter of the music legend Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley as well. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Again, thanks so much for joining us here on this episode. We're doing this at a special time. We do have another show tonight that's going to be live at 7 p.m. And Sam Lowe, the country music singer and songwriter, is going to be joining us on the show. And then tomorrow, live from London, David Francis will be joining us, acclaimed singer. He's going to be performing live. But right now, again, we're taking a moment to pay heed to the passing of Lisa Marie Presley, again, at the young age of 54. And as I mentioned, the daughter of Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley, and an iconic American family on so many levels. And of course, Elvis, we know, as not only a music legend, but an extraordinary talent unto himself. There they are. There is Lisa Marie and Priscilla and Elvis way back when she was a child. And this is one of the last shots of Lisa Marie when she was at the Golden Globes. And there's Austin Butler, of course, who portrayed Elvis in the movie in 2022, won the Golden Globe for that portrayal, and was absolutely extraordinary in that role. And he just knocked it out of the park, and he just really took on the persona of Elvis in so many different levels. And Lisa Marie was visibly moved when he won the Golden Globe, and Priscilla was as well, and they were seated at the table. This is Austin receiving the Golden Globe and his speech, and he thanked, of course, the Presley family and producers, because Lisa Marie and Priscilla were very involved, in the movie, and in terms of just how things went along and the authenticity. And it was extraordinary. And again, Lisa Marie Presley just passed away just a few days ago, and the world is still shocked and rocked by it. Scot Lukas, again, a big friend of our show, but he himself is an extraordinary talent, a very gifted fashion expert and stylist and designer. He's worked with Tina Turner. He's worked with Janet Jackson. You name it, he's worked with them all. And again, he knew Lisa Marie Presley. And you might have seen him. He's been on network news, and they've turned to him for his feelings. So since he's a friend of ours here at the Jim Masters Show live series, I called upon Wayne to, in his very busy schedule, because he's been, called upon all day long for the last 2 days at least for his comments about the situation and the passing of Lisa Marie. I reached out to him and said, we would really like to do a show remembering this remarkable person, this remarkable life. I know you're busy, Wayne. You're a big fan of our show. Can you stop by and perhaps share some experiences and some words? So he graciously said yes. And he's joining us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show live series, again, as we do welcome him and we celebrate and remember the life of Lisa Marie Presley. So again, he's poised. He's actually at his mother's house, and God bless him, spending time with his loving mom. And we're so honored to have him here on the show. So join me, everybody, in welcoming him to the show. If you would like to comment, because we are a very interactive broadcast, the Jim Masters Show live series. If this is your first time here, welcome. We have hundreds and hundreds of episodes that you can binge watch right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Matter of fact, if you enjoy this episode, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. But do connect with us. You can interact with us. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, one of the gifts we give you, one of the bonuses, is that you can chat amongst yourselves in our JMS Lovity chat room. We've got a chat room designed during the Jim Masters Show series when the shows are on, where you can chat with each other. And a lot of people have become friends as a result of our show, and we are happy to hear that. And we can see some of your comments as well. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free to do that, and you can be a part of the JMS Live Lovity chat room. Maybe express your memories. Maybe you were a fan of Lisa Marie Presley, of Elvis Presley, Priscilla, a fan of Austin Butler, or any of the folks involved. You can certainly express that right now in our interactive JMS Lovity chat room. I literally 5 minutes ago came from the TV studio where I was on a television shoot. I was interviewing a psychologist and life coach and somebody who helps people deal with long haul COVID symptoms. She came out from New York, and it was really a blessing. And it's just a very busy time. We wanted to take again a moment to remember Lisa Marie and to welcome back to our show an incomparable talent unto himself. And again, he is such a fan of the Jim Masters Show. He's definitely one of our JMS Lovity Squad members. We are very excited to welcome back Wayne Scot Lukas to the Jim Masters Show. Wayne, my friend, I know it's a difficult time, it's an emotional time. Thank you. You're so busy, and you've been on, so many of the major networks. Stopping by the Jim Masters Show today, really honored and appreciate that.
Yeah, how could I not? When you reached out, I don't think it's impressive to be the expert on Whitney's death and Lisa Marie's death, and I've got a list of clients that have passed away, and people keep asking, you to speak about it, and I always want to do it because the other day I did a TV show about Lisa Marie. They called me right after she passed away. I was actually texting Janet Jackson on WhatsApp. And I said, I saw Lisa Marie at the Golden Globes and she did not look good. I said, what do you think? Is she okay? I hear she's going to the hospital. I text Janet that, and not 15 minutes later, Lisa Marie passed away. So, and Janet must have been sleeping in London. She's in London, and she probably never got the message. So I never got a chance to speak to her about it. But she's the first person I thought to contact because I met Lisa through Janet when Lisa was married to Michael. So
Right.
I was devastated the other night, and within 5 minutes, the Bannon Report called me and asked me to go on air. And I always, it's an ego thing where you don't want to make it about you, but there are so many fans that want to know what you know. And I think if I go on and talk about what made Lisa fabulous and about her surviving her son's suicide and about her sadness and about, the drugs and all the things that went on, you start to see where the road led, and you start to be able to kind of change your life and make different choices.
Yes. That first time, like you said, when you met her, um, what
Well,
was she like? What was her headspace at that time? What was she
you know what's
experiencing?
what's so funny is that we were doing the let's see, the VH1 Awards, I think, with Janet, and I was dressing Janet Jackson and her two dancers, and Kevin Aquan was in the back room doing her makeup, Janet's makeup, and Janet said, "Oh, Lucas, can you get the door?" We were at the Four Seasons Hotel in New York, and she said, "I think it's Lisa." And you want to know something? I had such a big ego back then that I opened the door. I said, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And I said, "Let me let her know you're here." And I shut the door in her face. I thought that I was so cool that I didn't want to give her her props. And looking back now, what an immature way that I acted when I first met, the king, his daughter. I should have curtsied like Meghan Markle's been saying lately. I should have done anything to say, hail, oh hail Lisa. But then as I got to know her through Kevin Aquan and through Janet, and I started to fall in love with the uninterested, cool, excited when she wanted to be person that was Lisa Marie, and hopeful and smart. And you can tell she'd been beaten up by life, but she had beat back. She kept trying to she had kids, which kind of gives you some magic, and she fell in love. She's been married a couple times. She kept trying. I Sometimes you can't heal before you pass away, but I said the other night, and I don't want to repeat it, but I said that magic people come through this world and they pass through real fast and they sprinkle fairy dust on us and then they're gone. And we're lucky to have known them. And I will tell you, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, Lisa Marie, not at the same level in their careers, but let me see. I wrote it down. Let's see. Marilyn died at 36 years old. Elvis died at 42 years old, and Lisa made it to 54 years old. And in those 54 years old, we got to fall in love with her. I wish she was less private. I'm glad she was private for her own sake, but I wish she was less private because you would have all gotten to know her better. And she made it. She survived to this point. I don't know how she did. When her son, Benjamin, committed suicide, that's when I got this. I'm going to tell you guys a quote that she had said, and this is really important. She wrote something for People magazine about, healing from grief. And she was admitting that she wasn't healing from grief. And the only thing that healed her was things like this show and things like grief groups and Al-Anon and AA, because people together in the same pain. She said, a handful of, and this happened, my partner committed suicide in 2010. And within 2 weeks, when the flowers stopped and the cards stopped and the food stopped, I was all alone.
Yeah.
A handful of people typically stay in contact to offer ongoing support to a friend or family member who has experienced a difficult loss. Unfortunately, that is the cold, hard truth for most. So if you know someone who lost a loved one, regardless of how long it's been, please call them and see how they are doing. Go visit them, send food, send a card. They will really appreciate it more than you know. Presley said she found comfort in the company of people who have faced a similar tragedy. So for this superstar, after her son committed suicide and after she lost her dad, she was completely alone. And I know that when there's a tragedy like my partner's suicide, everybody rallies around you and then they want to get away from you. And then they
Yeah.
don't show up, and then they're back to their own lives. And my therapist once said, and this was so important for Lisa, and I wish I would have told her this when she was alive. My therapist said, people have a limit to how they grieve for you. People have grief timelines. So even though you're still sad and you're crying for the next 12 years, maybe your best friend can give you 3 days. Maybe your mom can give you a month. Maybe I, as a therapist, can give you as much time as I have in our session, she said, but you have to understand that people have a limit to how they support you in your grief. So my thing I've been saying lately, Jim, is we have to learn how to hold space for others. And it was one of my favorite poems I read after my boyfriend passed away. By holding space for others, we don't make them be anything but human. And we sit with them in their sadness. We sit with them in their pain, and we sit with them in their healing. And if we do that and don't try to fix it, and we feel them, feed them and show them love, we can commiserate in that moment, and it actually changes the world. It opens up a different vibration. So the first time I met Lisa I was rude. I have to be honest. I thought I was too cool. And then Janet got mad at me and she said, how dare you, do that? Go back to the door. So I opened the door again and she came in and I was very nice. And it's kind of like she liked that I was shady and she kind of laughed about it. And then with Kevin Aquan, the famous makeup artist, in his book, Making Faces, he was doing Lisa Marie as different celebrities. And one of the choices was Whitney Houston when she played Audrey Hepburn in, what's the movie where Audrey Hepburn goes to Paris? Jim, with Fred Astaire.
Oh, yes.
I
Yes.
can't remember the name.
It's always when we're on the spot,
Not
right?
Funny Face. Well, it's okay, but they did that dance scene number where she's in a black turtleneck and the
Yes.
he made Lisa Audrey Hepburn. If you look up, guys, if you Google Funny Faces, Kevin Aquan's book, Lisa Marie, you'll see that. And then thank you, Maureen, for being not aware of my loss. I appreciate that. It's why I'm able to talk about suicide with other people. And then Kevin said, I want to do Lisa as Marilyn Monroe. And he said, between you and me, I find Lisa to be a tragic figure. She said, she's really fun. She's really strong, but there's a tragedy to her life and her loss. And we talked back and forth about it. And I think I have it. I don't know if you can pull it up on your way, Jim, but Kevin Aquan did Lisa as Marilyn Monroe. And it's I think I have it here. It's some of the best pictures of Lisa that Kevin ever shot of a celebrity. Look at this. Can you guys see that?
Let's take a look. So that's Lisa.
That's Lisa Marie as Marilyn Monroe.
Let's take a look close up. Here we go.
You got that?
You know, I always said there's something about Lisa Marie's eyes that always intrigued me.
Mm.
There's a lot of depth and emotion in just the shape of her eyes, the color of her eyes, and the way she expressed her eyes, if that makes any sense. It's almost as if they weren't like big and round and opened. They were always sort of subdued a little bit, like she was a thinker, a feeler.
She was,
Uh,
and I felt that those were that like that song "Private Eyes," they were private eyes.
yes, right.
Because, well, she was 9, I think, when Elvis died, and what we used to say
Yes.
back and forth is, "Everybody wants to know about Elvis." She said, and I hate to say this to the fans out there, but just so you know, just like all of you, what she really knew about her dad was memories. So it was about memories just like you did, because at 9 years old, you can only remember 1 to 9 years old. Everything else was also what she watched on TV and home movies she watched with Priscilla and things she heard about her dad through relatives. So some of the stuff she shared was history that you already knew, because all she really had was 9 years with that extraordinary man, and she wasn't with him all the time because Priscilla and Elvis had divorced. So Lisa would travel to Graceland and stay with her. Um, it's heartbreaking because we want these people to be heroes and we want them to tell us about their past and survive. And when you figure out that they're grieving, it's horrific. A story just came out in a gossip paper today showing all the pills at Lisa's bathroom and all the tequila next to the pills, and some nanny posted pictures of alcohol, and I thought, this is just like the Whitney Houston scandal, who also was a very close friend and client. It's like, leave people's private stuff private and let people suffer their addictions, let them experience their healing, let them do that in private. And like Lisa said, if you go to groups to get support, go to groups, but even groups, AA, other groups, it's private.
Right.
So let people live in their privacy, because I always say this, guys, unless your side of the street is clean, don't judge mine. And I had to learn that because of my own ego with celebrities. I used to judge and, talk about gossip. And you know what? It's like, Janet's no less a human being, Janet Jackson, if she comes up in conversation. And that's why in the Janet documentary I was in, we didn't talk about Janet's personal. I just said what it was about, what about her made her magic. So with Lisa, I would say it's like many of our friends and our relatives, we all have someone in our family who's an addict or who's addicted or who's going through tragedy. You can't save anyone. What you can do is love them. And you can love them in their sadness, you can love them in their pain, and you can love them in their healing if they choose to heal. And if they don't choose to heal, you have to put up a boundary to protect yourself, which I really feel Priscilla did. So please don't judge her mom, because she had to protect herself and Lisa's children from whatever inevitably was going on in the house. I was shocked at the Golden Globes because that fresh, young, fun, hopeful, shady, funny girl looked like a shell of herself that night. And I don't know if they had to prop her up and drag her out because she was kind of tripping down the stairs and stuff. And it really broke my heart. But, also when you're a celebrity and you want to do your own thing and you get sick of it, you kind of cut people out of your life, and only certain people are allowed in. And it's the people that aren't going to talk and the people that are going to keep your secrets. So I hope for her that, as tragic as the end sounded, they gave her epinephrine. That they said Danny, her ex-husband, gave her CPR. I don't know if Danny knew CPR, but they said they gave him CPR. They said that she coded a few times at the hospital, which breaks my heart because that is painful. I hope that leading up to this, it didn't feel as bad as it seems, that makes people want to kill themselves, because it's a last minute choice sometimes. It's not an ideation that happens all the time. And if it's included with drugs or alcohol, it kind of, you can't judge why someone makes that choice. I mean, my partner, the day before he killed himself, was happy. We were shopping in New York City. He was buying groceries. He was starting a big diet, a juice cleanse, and he was buying antifungal cream for his toenail because he
Yeah.
wanted to heal. So people don't, and dog food for a month. He had gotten a tax return. People don't do all those things if they're going to kill themselves the next day. So you never know what the trigger was. So my sad part about this is that Lisa came and left, and I don't think she left a big enough mark on the planet. I
That's
don't
how
think
I feel,
yeah,
right.
she had more to give, and we were all there during her, chance to do her album. One of her songs did really well from the first album. A lot of my friends worked with her in the business for hair and makeup. Renato Camparo was her hairstylist for the whole press tour. I didn't style her. I was more just a friend because of Janet and Michael Jackson. But I would say when she was with Michael, she was it almost felt like leaving Priscilla and leaving the family, going to Michael. She was actually free for the first time. And going to Michael as a pipe icon, this is going to sound so weird to the public, but it took the pressure off her to be Elvis's daughter. She was allowed to be someone's wife, and she
Mm,
was allowed to be someone in her own right. And all of a sudden, she could go to these award shows and have fun and be just somebody else because she really became Michael's wife, and for that moment, and it was crazy because no one understood the relationship. But if you watch the video, You Are Not Alone, where the two of them are in the video, I'll never forget when they shot that. It was a beautiful time. And I hate to say it, but I think she was really happy at that point in her life. I know she was happy when she had her twins, that I heard from other people. We had lost touch in the last couple years, after all of her press junkets and her tours and her time with Janet, we had separated. But I posted a picture on Instagram today, and I said to her, I said, "Oh my God, this was a special night. I had dressed Janet. I had helped Lisa get her purse and her stuff together. And I said, this was a really amazing night." And the fan wrote, "What, when she died?" And I thought, what is it with social media that nobody gets it? Like, do you Google? Do you understand that I was there that night and we had a lot of fun that night? It was fun getting her ready to go out. And, she was joyful with Janet and she was glowing. I mean, after Michael enduring her friendship with Janet, she was absolutely glowing and she was a blast to be around. Having a lot of addiction in my family, really horrible addiction. Uh, I understand what it's like when they crash and burn. And I watch them crash and burn and come back. We all do. Come on, guys. And then
yeah.
you watch them crash and burn and come back again. And you keep thinking you're going to save them with a check or with food or with money or with a rehab. And it doesn't help. So I won't assume what I know about, you know, help Lisa pass away, but I will say that I don't trust. I don't trust that there wasn't something else involved because she had three beautiful daughters, which I know doesn't save the day. And she had an ex-husband she was living with, which I know doesn't save the day. And her mom, which is five people trying to support you in the process of not wanting to be here. And every single one of us out there has not wanted to be here at some point. And if you say that that's not true, then you're not telling the truth. So we have to find a way to heal. We have to find a way to share. We have to find a way to express grief. And we have to find a way to say we need a break from people. We need a break. We need to climb into our bed, put the covers over our head, not in depression, but to recharge. And if you can't refill the well, you can't give anybody water. Like,
Right.
what are you all doing out there to refill your well? You know?
Right.
So that's my blessing. And when I saw Lisa at the Golden Globes, I was dumbfounded to the point that I started writing to my friends and said, who did her hair and makeup? Someone said she was nodding off in the makeup chair before she got there. I don't know, but I've been with Courtney Love. Hello. I've been with a lot of celebrities when they look like Lisa looked that night. And what it did was it broke my heart. And I'm not an expert, but I am really good at recognizing when someone doesn't seem happy.
A lot of the people that were there who interviewed her on the red carpet and everywhere else, even Billy Bush and some of the others have been indicating that there was something that didn't
Yeah.
seem
Yeah.
cognizant and everything, but there was just something that it was a little off and maybe a sadness or something that was occurring. What's amazing is, and again, of course, her dad being Elvis, but even for the situation, the suddenness of it scares people.
Yeah.
Somebody 54 seems prime, the legacy, all of that, but she's really survived so much in her life. So to have it happen at such a young age, the outpouring of support, the media coverage, the people who are devastated, some people even saying that they are, if they're old enough, now reliving the passing of Elvis
Yeah.
through Lisa Marie, because he passed suddenly through a heart attack as well. And what do you think that is?
You
You're
know,
deep in the celebrity world. What is it about where when something like this happens and it's a sudden situation?
but isn't it amazing though? When Whitney died, it's the same thing. Whitney showed up at Clive Davis's party the night before singing, and the next day she was drowned in a bathtub dead. I mean,
That's
think
like
about
Aaron
that.
Carter as well.
Yeah,
Aaron
this is how
Carter.
tragic these deaths are because the people that are supposed to be watching these celebrities are not. And the people that want to keep making money off the celebrities and propping them up to show up when they're not well are not. Think about Michael's death. Who knew if the doctor took anything from his house all those months he was giving him propofol? Who knew what was really going on? But I knew that Janet couldn't get him on the phone. Nobody could get to Michael at those points. So my thing is this right now, as moms and as sisters and friends and family members, if I was anybody out there, I would do an outpouring of support to Priscilla because she not only lost her husband, she not only lost her grandson, Benjamin, she lost her daughter. Three of them in her lifetime, and she's still going and she hasn't given up. I'd also do an outpouring of support to Lisa's three children because they lost their mom. Danny
Yes.
Keough lost his ex-wife. And, I found my partner after he committed suicide, and the post-traumatic stress of finding someone dead that has killed himself is mind-boggling. So I can't imagine what Danny's going through right now when you love someone and they decide to leave. So there's a
Yeah, we had an uncle that did that.
yeah,
We had an uncle that took his life years and years ago. We were kids. And my cousin, she never got over it. That
you
was her
never will.
daddy. Never. And she ended up with married with a child. She ended up overdosing.
And
She could just never handle because they came home from school and they
mm,
saw their father hanging in the garage,
and I
and
found
she
mine.
never
I found
recovered
mine
from
hanging
that.
in the garage. And I got to tell you, you never get over it. I had to go to hypnosis. I had to do something called EMDR. And I had to go to another doctor for the tapping because I couldn't get rid of what I saw. What I saw was so tragic because someone that loved me, that I loved, decided that this was the way out. Um, someone said, oh, he's so selfish. And someone said, oh, stop judging sudden death, alcohol, drug death, and suicide people. Start being compassionate because there's people left behind. The worst thing about this tragedy, other than people losing Lisa, who really didn't care about Lisa much in the past couple of years anyway, is that they're suicide survivors, addiction survivors, sudden death survivors. The people left behind are the ones that suffer now. And then the people that say this is just like Elvis, it's not just like Elvis. Elvis was actively, well, I guess it was in a way, but don't put feelings on people. It's like when people say my dog feels like this. Don't put human emotions on animals.
Right.
Be sad, care about the loss, feel the grief that you feel, then understand that the way to heal is to reach out and share in the grief of the family. Say a prayer for the daughters, say a prayer for the ex, say a prayer for the aunts and uncles and cousins. And really, Priscilla really needs support right now. I mean, that woman has, Elvis started dating her when she was 14. 14. And they dated at Graceland. They dated. They say it wasn't dating, but come on. So her whole life was with Elvis, and I think she had Lisa when she was about 20 or so. So she needs a lot of love right now. And the Elvis movie came out, and it was really one of, you haven't seen it, go see it. But I when I experienced a suicide and a sudden death, I went to a place called American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And AFSP.org saved me from blaming myself. So to Lisa's children and kids with an addiction death or a heart giving out death or just any death, you don't want to blame yourself for not being there. You want to go to these websites. You want to check out grief groups. You want to do them online. Anybody listening too, you want to do all these things. And you want to find a way to help others heal. And by doing this, it's the magic part of why we're human. If we don't heal in this lifetime, it's not worth it for us to be here because I say this all the time, Jim. Life is a series of massive speed bumps. And we
Yes.
only have tiny, tiny moments between the speed bumps of joy. So if
Yeah.
you can't hold on to those tiny moments of joy, little moments, the birth of your grandson, your 3-year-old's birthday party, when you fell in love, your wedding, if you can't hold those things, you've got to string the joyful moments together as your story and get rid of the speed bumps. You can smooth the speed bumps by bringing together the joy. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because
Yes.
life is hard, life is difficult, and it's going to be massive pain. That's what life is. How are you going to live this one perfect life you've been given by God? Just one.
There's a word that you said that is so important. You didn't say happiness, you said joy. And we've
Joy.
talked about it on this show, and I've talked about it in my professional work on television with people I've chatted with, and we've talked about the differences. A lot of people strive for happy, but happy could be very fleeting. It could be a
What's happy? Yeah.
momentary. On your birthday, you're happy. Maybe on
Mhm.
Christmas Day, you're happy. Somebody does something or says something to you and it makes you happy. The birth of a baby makes you happy. But then there's joyful, which is
Mhm.
longer lasting and
Yes.
deeper and more centered. And some people confuse happy with joyful. And I think when you've achieved being joyful, you can deal with a lot of these things that we have to deal with in life. Sometimes things that we are aware of that are coming down the pike that we have no way of avoiding. And
Yeah.
then these sudden situations in life, whether sudden loss, sudden tragedy, whatever it may, pandemics, whatever it may be, we can sort of get through it. But when you have the joyful that you can call upon in the reserves,
It's even
different than
it's
just happy. Everybody wants to be just happy. Yeah. So you mentioned joyfulness, and that's so important, Wayne.
well, the thing is this, how do you show up in this how do you show up in this how do you show up for this one perfect life? How do you show up with a life full of tragedy? Do you have boundaries? Do you put yourself first? As a mom, do you make sure you fill your well, like I said before you feed the kids? Are you eating? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you working out? Are you going to the doctor? I called my therapist last week after Lisa died the other day, and I said, I'm so sad. She said, okay, so how was your doctor's appointment? And I said, yeah, but I'm sad. She goes, oh, I said, okay. I said, I got my medicine and I'm doing great. My health is great. She goes, and this was such key, guys out there. I can talk about Lisa, but I also want to talk about self-care because she said self-care is one of the most important things you can do for yourself to heal.
Yes.
Brush your teeth, go to the doctor, take your medicine on time, get your kids to the dentist. All those simple things are what we do for ourselves to make our lives change. So back to Lisa. Magic, hopeful, funny, deep, deep thinker, should have been should have had her voice heard more, not her singing voice, but her speaking voice.
Do you think she was underrated?
Underrated as a human being. Because remember, she was always Elvis's daughter. That may have made her famous,
It's quite a
but she
shadow.
could
Yeah.
never become Lisa. She never became, he never became Lisa Marie's dad, which would have been nice in this lifetime. If he was Lisa Marie's dad, as she spoke about great things that she knew, because remember, she was surrounded by magic people growing up. She was surrounded by people in the music business and in Graceland and her relatives, and a lot of them were good, some of them weren't great, but you know what? It's funny what we call a lucky life and a tragic life, because what would you call this one, everybody out there? Was it a lucky life or was it a tragic life? It's a combination of both. And in the lucky and in the tragic life, it is a magic life, because the in between of lucky and tragic is real. And that's where the moments happen. Does that make sense?
Yes. Right. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. You mentioned Whitney Houston as well. What was that
Mm.
experience like, and how does that compare or different to what people are experiencing with this worldwide grief over the passing of
Mm.
Lisa Marie Presley?
Well, the worldwide grief, I'll tell you, I was going to say this before. It's very shocking because everybody makes somebody else's death about them and how they feel. And celebrities tend to post that about politics and death and stuff like that. Sure, half of them haven't called Lisa Marie Presley once in their whole careers. So before you wax poetic about a loss because you say, I could die too, I just think it gives us our humanness when someone passes away like this. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, because there's addiction and suicide and all kinds of medical issues and heart issues in all of our families, we all know this could happen to us. And what happens in a sudden death like this is it drags us back to reality. All of a sudden, we're not talking about Harry and Meghan. We're not talking about the documents in the White House. We're talking about Lisa Marie. She became the bigger story for 2 days because it actually relates directly to us. So the problem with Whitney for me was my very last job with Whitney was the Michael Jackson concert at Madison Square Garden. We had done Whitney Houston, and she went and she showed up on stage late. She was so horrifically skeletal that they actually had to airbrush the video that they posted from the first night, and they fired her. And they hired Deborah Cox the second night, and I dressed Deborah Cox in Versace for opening the next night because Whitney couldn't make it. So my very last job with Whitney was a photo shoot for Premiere Magazine, and Whitney had been my friend, and I was young, and I loved her, and we spent her career from her second album all the way to her almost last album. We were together working as an assistant and then as her own stylist. And my very last job with her, she was so, and I'm going to say it publicly, she was so gone on drugs. She was so cruel and so mean that I couldn't because on the set, Whitney would sing and you'd hear that voice and you'd be like, oh my God, I'm so lucky. Vanessa Williams used to sing to me on the set. And it was like, you can't get over the feelings of that. But Whitney used to sing. And then she came to the last shoot. She had a gravelly voice, and she had a really big fight with me about wanting to wear a real fur coat, and her publicist didn't want her in a fur coat because fur was bad, and Fendi gave her this coat. And I said, Whitney, Mara says you shouldn't wear that coat. And Whitney goes, snapped her head, and she goes, who do you think you are to tell me what to do and what to wear? And I thought, well, I've been telling you what to wear for 25 years. So I just think I'm your friend Wayne who loves you. So, okay. And that was our very last shoot. And she was dead not soon after. And on Clive Davis's wall, her manager, behind him on his desk at J Records, there was the giant picture of my cover, Premiere Magazine. You can Google it. And he said, and my friend said, why is that on your wall out of all the celebrities you've done? And he said, because that picture shows me that no matter how bad it gets, it can always be that good. And I was always moved by that because, when she passed away, she had no teeth. They were all dentures. She had lost most of her hair. She just was really a wreck. And everybody that laughed at Bobby and Whitney, the reality show, used to break my heart. Bobby came to visit me and Janet on the set once behind the scenes at MTV Icon. He was so wasted and drunk, he was falling down in her motorhome, and her brother and the bodyguard had to drag him off the motorhome because he was trying to maul Janet. So I just think that the tragedy, you see, we tend to like the tragedy. We like watching train wrecks. That's why we like Andy's Bravo shows, Real Housewives, and that's why we like these 90-Day Fiancés. But I'm going to tell you something, without being judgmental, as a nation and as a country and as a world, every time you sit and watch somebody else's tragedy and laugh about it and act shocked about it and think that you're better because you're not like those people, you're doing a huge disservice to the planet and the connection of all of us, because we're giving money watching people fall to pieces. And my Whitney situation was, in my book, I have a book coming out. I'm not here to promote myself, but there'll be a book out, and I have a whole section.
And you will be right here when that book comes out.
Yeah. I have a whole section being a born again Christian, growing up born again, and not figuring out how to be gay because it was wrong, and that was not going to happen. God did not want that for me, and I believed it. So when I met Whitney as an assistant, Whitney would bring up these conversations, and one day we were alone, and she said, this breaks my heart. I cry whenever I say it. Isn't this terrible? We were sitting in a room together, and Whitney said, God still loves us, Wayne, right? And I looked at her, and I said, yeah. And she was with her girlfriend, Robin, which was the love of her life. I don't care what anybody tells you in the press. Since she was 11, Robin was her girlfriend. And she said, oh, Wayne, she goes, I love when I'm in church and I sing those hymns and the music goes through me. And how could God not love me when I love him so much? And I said, Whitney, I said, he loves us. She said, how can he? The church tells me he doesn't love us. And I said, Whitney, I said, he loves us. And the way you sing those songs, he loves us big. And she goes, "You promise, Wayne? You promise God loves us?" And I said, "He loves us gay. He loves us straight. And he loves how Robin loves you." And he said, "He loves how I love you." And she was looking at me and she was crying. So Whitney Houston was crying on this huge photo shoot behind the scenes because she could not put together gay and God. And that is the tragedy of politics, trying to say gay is bad and trans is bad and this is bad and that is bad. It's just like the reality shows. Who are any of us to tell anybody else what's bad? I go to God on my knees at night and I talk to God. God will talk to me. I don't need anybody else to tell me what's good and bad. I don't need to learn lessons from somebody else's religious standpoint, because you know what? It breaks people. So the tragedy with Whitney was when she passed away, I was going to go to the funeral until I heard that this is a scoop, until I heard that Kevin Costner was speaking, because I've never said this, but it's going to be in the book. When Kevin Costner did The Bodyguard, and Sissy Houston needed Whitney Houston to cross over to worldwide fame. She was a singer, but they wanted her to become an actress singer, a big star. You could not back then become a big star if you were gay. Can you believe that time existed? So Kevin Costner and Sissy Houston went on a huge campaign, and they can come after me if they want. They came after her to make her seem straight. Hence, get rid of Robin, bring in Bobby Brown. I still to this day blame Sissy and Kevin for bringing in Bobby Brown and for the tragedy that ended Whitney's life. Because as long as Robin was around, and if Robin's listening, I love you so much because I know the story. As long as Robin was around, Whitney was going to survive. And Whitney was going to make it. So when I saw Kevin Costner stand at that funeral and speak, I thought, how disgusting. He did one movie with her, and he's the major speaker at her funeral. The public doesn't know that behind the scenes, he was trying to make her seem straight. And by doing that, it tragically ruined her life, because it's not who she was. And it's not who she was in God's eyes either. I hate to tell everybody out there, but that's just the way it is, whether you like it or not. And at the end of the day, she chose drugs, she chose the party life, and she went down the tubes, and it happened real fast. And we all watched it happen. But when she was mean to me on that last shoot, and I looked in her eyes, like you said about Lisa's eyes, I looked in Whitney's eyes and I couldn't find her. I knew that, with celebrities, it's not going to go much further. I've been with celebrities when they started out, and I've been with them when it's over, for drugs or for, career, or for they say something wrong in the press. And, as a public, we love to put people on pedestals, and I've experienced it. They make you famous, and then they shoot, because you're an easier target, and then they shoot you with arrows trying to bring you down. Mm-hmm. So watch in life, people that watch this, when you worship a celebrity or a person, that you don't do that. You don't put them on a pedestal just so that you can take them down when they fail here and there. Because like I said, until your side of the street is clean, don't judge another's. So the world freaks out from these sudden deaths because we think that these celebrities are immortal. We think they're going to last forever. But think about all the celebrities that have passed away that we've loved, and how tragically that they've died. Yeah. So what are we selling?
Well, like even Aaron Carter recently.
Oh, that was that, and then the fighting, him and his brother.
He was trying to, get back. He was putting money into his own music. He was really.
Listen, I'm watching Britney very closely, because I know Britney very well, and I'm watching very closely what's going on with her, because forget this free Britney, forget this no conservatorship. You want to know something? People can hate me for saying it. She needed a conservator. Maybe not as difficult as her dad was, but somebody had to manage, because she became unmanageable after Kevin. When she was with Kevin Federline and the drugs and the partying, she became unmanageable. And somebody needed to protect her. I wish that the father didn't protect her with Kevin, because he was not the person that needed to help protect Whitney, because anybody that gets paid off around you is really not going to take care of you well. I could pay a healthcare worker to take care of my mom or my brother, and I can trust that I pay them and I can fire them and hire them. But if you're taking out of my mother and brother's pocket and you're taking care of them, it's a whole different story, right?
Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah.
So, I hope that when I say this stuff in the book, people are going to feel like they want to know the true story. But we tend to want to know, like with Lisa, with Whitney, with Britney right now, we want to know our version of the story so it works for us. makes us feel comfortable. And that's not how the world works. Tell me your pain. Tell me your suffering. Tell me your truth. Tell me your sadness. I'll introduce you to Jesus Christ. If you want to know my journey, I'll introduce you that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and that's how I get through. Or if you're Muslim or if you're Jewish, I'll talk to you about your faith and how your faith can carry you. You don't have to believe what I believe to know you're going to survive. You just have to believe in something. And if you can't believe in yourself, and this makes me cry, you have to find something to hold on to. And that is faith in something. So dig, people, dig, dig in this world and try to find something. Get into therapy. Al-Anon is free. Go to AA. Every church has AA. You may not be an alcoholic. You may have had an alcoholic father or a grandfather, but you're going to learn something. We spend so much time doing crafts and on the phones, learning about celebrities' fabulous lives, but we do nothing to learn about our own. Tell me about that.
It's amazing, working with celebrities on the deep, intimate level that you have, and so many of these iconic figures that you've kept one eye open during it all as well. You've been absorbing so much. You've been seeing the ups and downs, the triumphs and tragedies of being a celebrity and what it's all about and what it takes and how sometimes they can be misguided or directed in the wrong ways, or just the pressure and overwhelm of maintaining it as well. And it's extraordinary the perspective that you have, where you could just be saying and easily just saying, everything is great, they're terrific, bring on Hollywood, and that's it. But you've been there and you've experienced and probably have helped some people through a lot of different things, and maybe offered guidance and some healing and support to help them through in a beautiful way. That you have this very interesting take. People, when they hear, celebrity fashion stylist, designer, and extraordinarily talented in that vein, they wouldn't expect to be hearing some of this behind the scenes, yes, but I don't even want to use that phrase because that's just an overused phrase.
This isn't true.
This understanding and perspective on what really matters most in life.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's just my truth. It doesn't have to be anybody else's truth. But I can talk about Lisa and say, we were best friends. We weren't. We were celebrity client friends, friendly. I can talk about Janet Jackson and say, we were best friends. You know what? At times we really were almost best friends. I can talk about Whitney and say, wow, we were very close, and we really were. But you want to know the truth? The truth of the matter is, I got very rich as a celebrity stylist. I got an ego that was so big that my head could have exploded. I'm a kid from New Jersey. I came from nothing. Just regular middle class, sometimes no money for groceries, my parents, but they did it. My dad worked 2 jobs and my mom worked 1 job because they wanted us in private born again Christian school. So we left public school, and I came from nothing and made it myself. And when I was going into fashion, my parents said they didn't want me to go to FIT because there were too many gay people at the Fashion Institute of Technology. So they didn't want me in a school with gay people. A little did they know. So I went to school for graphic design. And what happened was I went to Pratt and I learned graphic design. And you know what? During the pandemic recently, when I couldn't go in people's homes because of COVID, they didn't want me in their closets and stuff because no one knew who was sick. Do you know that I sat in my house and I did album covers, book covers, and novel covers, and I used all my graphic training from all those years of going to graphic design school? And so that tragedy, I thought, that my parents didn't want me in fashion school, ended up I became the top celebrity fashion stylist in the world, and I can call on my graphics whenever I needed it. So God was in the mix of the journey, and my ego was based on no self-esteem and no self-respect. And I was at Diane Sawyer's house once, and I was doing a fitting for her, and she had a cleaning lady there who was not really nice, but Diane said, give them lunch, give them whatever they need. So the lady said, come on into the kitchen and we'll make you lunch. And we went into the kitchen, And me and my assistants were so hungry. I mean, sometimes with celebrities, you don't dare ask in their house for. Our new assistants go, "Can I get a coffee? Can I?"
Yeah.
Go, you don't ask a celebrity for anything. You stay quiet. It's old school for me. So we're in the kitchen and we eat lunch and we're so happy. We were treated so well. We came out of the room. We went back to the 20 racks of clothes and we're cleaning up her house. And now, you make sure you don't touch the walls, you don't touch the furniture, you're very respectful. And the maid comes in the room. Diane had left to do 2020. And the maid came in the room and she looked at me and she turned me around with my arm and she screamed, she goes, "You get in that kitchen right now. You get back in that kitchen right now." And I looked at her and she said, "Get in that kitchen." And I went in and she goes, "Look at the floor. Your shoes and your assistant's shoes scuffed the floor." She handed me a roll of paper towels and comment like Joan Crawford in that scene with Christina Crawford and the no wire hangers.
No more wire hangers.
I was on the floor in Diane Sawyer's kitchen with the paper towel and the comet, and I'm getting ready to scrub the floor. And I scrubbed 2 spots. And then I looked up at the cleaning lady and I said, "Digna," I said, "I have to tell you something." I said, "I don't mind cleaning the floor if I did this, but this actually isn't what I'm here for today." So I said, "My assistant is going to work on this with you." But I said, "I'm going to talk to Diane about this." I said, "Because I'm unbelievably offended about how this happened today." And we cleaned up the floor. We did it. And we left. And I called my therapist and I went to therapy the next day. And she said, "I'm so proud of you because that's the beginning of you learning self-esteem and self-respect." Because the Wayne that I would have been on the floor, scrubbing that floor, embarrassed and ashamed because my shoe made a scuff on a floor that we probably shouldn't have walked on in shoes anyway. So the point is, I had no self-esteem and no self-respect. So when I started to make money, my ego said, "You're a star. Ask for 5,000 a day. Ask for 10,000 a day. Ask Janet for 85,000 for the video. You'll get it. You're a star." And you know what? I didn't know how to get my taxes in order. I didn't know how to get my banking in order. I was throwing gifts and money at people. And at the end of the day, all I created was a self-inflated ego, but I still didn't like myself at all. So I had to go backward and really work in therapy to try to go. And now I'm 57 years old, people out there. And I know this isn't about me, but I'm 57. And I finally went to my therapist about 2 weeks ago. I go once in a while now. Since my boyfriend's suicide, I had to go back because I needed the help. And now I go. I said, I told you this before. I went to the doctor. I got my medicine. My sugar's in check. My cholesterol's in check. It's all good. And she goes, "How do you feel?" I go, "I'm really proud of myself." Now, remember, I was proud of myself because I got a $10,000 check in 1990. I'm proud of myself today because I took my rosuvastatin. I
Mm.
mean, you see the difference in
Yes.
what's important? Because that means I want to live. That means I'm going to be healthy to take care of my mom and my brother that I'm taking care of. That means that I can still work. That means that I can come on your show and talk about your show. People that are trying to quit smoking out there, people that are trying to, or don't have their sugar levels right, or they're not working out. You are so worth it. You alone in this world, not with me, not with Jim, not with any celebrity, not with your kids, your husband. You're on this planet for a reason, and your reason is to heal in this lifetime. So please find your way. Don't end up like Lisa. Don't end up like Whitney. The best thing about those girls is they gave so much to the planet, and
They
now they're
did.
gone. I
Yeah.
have what I said that's very important, got me very upset. I could not believe when Twitch killed himself. I was dumbfounded because
That
you want to know
really
something?
took
I
everybody. Yeah.
well, we all were, but I know a lot of secrets about Twitch's life. I know a lot of things that he was doing, but the truth of the matter is, don't have 4 kids and then commit suicide. Don't get married. Get therapy. Take care of your brain, guys. We have all the help out there because suicide is preventable. Addiction is workable. Addiction is workable. There are meetings, there are classes, there are phone meetings, there are computer meetings. You don't have to leave this planet tragically. If there's a tragic accident, that was in God's plan. But don't set up yourself for situations where you're going to leave this planet tragically. Don't eat bad. Don't be in abusive relationships. Ladies, my friend says she can't get out. She's getting beaten up out in Long Island. And I finally had to cut the relationship. But before I cut the relationship, I told her, "Children, I'm here. I know all the secrets. If anything happens to your mom, call me because I will go to court and I will stand up for her in court." So there's ways out of this, you
Yeah.
know, and I just think that love is important. Hope is important. And you know, to be a celebrity stylist, I watch the ones on TV, Carson Kressley and all of them, and I'm thinking, and even Clinton that tried to steal my job at what not to wear. I look at them and I thought, you have a platform to do what we're doing today, like to heal each other and to talk about, I'm not so great. You know, I'm not so great. You know, my parents didn't want me to be gay. I ended up being gay. I had girlfriends. I had two boyfriends, and one of them killed himself. Oh God, it was my fault because I used to think it was my fault because I was gay. I mean, and I don't date anybody because my moral upbringing from being born again, this is really important. I got saved very young, and God's rules were no drinking, no drugs, no sex before marriage. That's what I learned, Jim. So I didn't drink or do drugs or have sex before marriage. So I thought you only have sex with who you love. And I have never loved anybody enough to actually sleep with them. So when AIDS hit, I came to New York in 1980. When AIDS hit in 1981 and every single person was dying, you would get AIDS and be dead in 2 weeks. I'm telling you, it was terrible. Because of my moral structure of this crazy born again life that my parents gave me, no drinking, no drugs, no sex before marriage. Guess what? I'm here at 57. So see the blessings in the curse. See that the crazy born again stuff that I learned ended up being the thing that probably saved my life. And now I have a relationship with God for me, and it's good, and I share it. But I don't shove it down anybody's throat, and I don't judge anybody else for not having one. I just want people to be able to find, you know what, find your way to the light, whatever your light is. And also, whatever your source is, I call the source God. So when I decorate my mother's house, someone said, "Oh, Wayne, you're so great." It's the source. It all comes from the source and goes through me. And whatever your source is out there, guys, whether it's, you know, you're an earth mother, or you're a Hindu Muslim, like I said before, and it's a Buddhist, whatever your source is, it comes from the source and it flows through you. So be a magic vessel. And you know what? Don't let the water stop flowing like Lisa did and die. Don't let the water flow like Whitney did and die. We're not, or Twitch, we're not judging them, but the magic talent that it flowed through these people. And then they turned off the stopper and they said, I've given you enough, goodbye.
Were they, do you think, depleted, just overwhelmed by it all, that they had to constantly be on and perform and maintain and always be there? And sometimes they just need those quiet, reflective, simple times. It seemed like Lisa Marie really craved. She lived up in beautiful Calabasas. I don't know if anybody's been there, but I've been there multiple times, and it's a beautiful part north and Los Angeles. And it's a wonderful place where a lot of the celebrities live. And it's visually beautiful. The landscaping, the homes are beautiful, but it's a getaway from being in the city and being in the limelight. And she seemed to really crave that balance of being able to have that place, to be surrounded by loved ones and family. She craved simple and love
Well,
and family, which
the
we all
worst,
do.
the worst part is this: you can be a drug addict in a palace, you can be a drug addict on the street. So your surroundings don't work on your inner workings about what makes you not get help and not find the way. And she did crave that. Elvis's estate was worth 100 million. She sold off part of it, but she still had a large amount of money. But remember, 4 kids, ex-husbands, a mom, everybody's living off that dime, just like Michael Jackson. So as great as the money sounds, when I heard that the estate was only worth 100 million, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked, because $100 million is not a lot of money anymore. A house in New Jersey, where I am right now, the childhood homes I grew up in that were 19,000 when my mom bought them, they're now 500,000 and 2 million for these little Shake Shack houses. So for Elvis's estate and all that stuff to only be worth that, I'm sure there was licensing deals and stuff, but I feel that she tried. She did it really big. You know, a lot of celebrities, people that pass away young, like Marilyn, they do it really big. They burn out and they die. I mean, she married Michael freaking Jackson. Her dad was Elvis. She had 2 or 3 albums. She had beautiful children, and she's gone. So for some, maybe that's enough. But I'm going to say, Jim, at the end of this, it's the inside healing, the inside work that has to be done. And then you can be a blossoming flower in the gutter. And you can heal someone sitting in the gutter with no shoes on because of how you speak from your heart. So you can be, Joel Osteen, and have a $143 million house and you can heal people, or you can be in the gutter and heal people. And I kind of think that people that heal people in the gutter know tragedy. And when you know tragedy, it's kind of interesting to be able to share that because you can connect to more people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish Lisa had read anybody Google the People magazine article. That was Lisa's healing when she wrote about grief after her son committed suicide. She was reaching out. If she did more of that, she could have changed the world.
What do you feel with the beautiful soul that she had? What is her legacy? What are we left with so we get beyond
You know what's
the
sad?
loss?
Well, you know what's sad though? In if it was a normal heart attack, just a heart attack, I would say, what we're left with is she's gone too soon. She was everybody's child when Elvis passed away, and we all loved her, and we all cared about her, mostly older generation. If it was drugs and alcohol, I always feel that the legacy is tainted. That's not a judgment call. That's just living it in my own family and my own life. I feel that with Twitch especially, I think Twitch was getting ready to change the world, and people that were racist and women that didn't like black men and were scared of, all of a sudden they were loving Twitch, and he was opening up doors and showing people hope, and he was interracial and people were falling in love with him. Ellen helped people fall in love with him. I mean, so the legacy, the sad part is when you commit suicide or when it's an alcohol or drug induced death, you always have a tarnished legacy. And that's always part of the obituary. She died from a drug overdose, but she was great. Twitch died from drugs, shot himself in the head, but he was great. And 2 days before Christmas, every one of those children, because I'm 12 years out, they will always remember their father dying at Christmas. And they will always remember that their father shot himself in the head and that he didn't think they were valuable enough to stay, because that's what you assume as a survivor of suicide. So to say something nice and to tie it up is that we're blessed that they pass through. And we're blessed that people are willing, because most of us are not willing to share our private lives with people. And most of us are not willing to share our sorrow with people. And she was willing to do those things. So for me, Lisa's legacy was that she was Elvis's daughter, which is great. She was part of a legacy of Graceland, which was great. And then on top of that, she survived suicide. She put out 3 albums. She supported her mom, and she became a great person. She was fun loving, and she was caring about her friends and her children to a fault. And she was ephemeral. She left ephemeral. She's kind of still floating in the air. This is the Lisa Marie that you really didn't know. So the legacy is that we're talking about her today, and we love her, and she's gone too soon. And we will talk about her for the rest of history. And I hope we talk about her with joy, because she didn't do enough in the world that we're not going to jump right back to being Elvis's daughter, which is a nice legacy to lead, because that's how we all loved her, that she was Elvis's little girl and he loved her so much. So that's a really nice legacy, because they'll get past how she died because nobody really knows, kind of. But the legacy is going to be she died too soon and she was Elvis's daughter. They're going to try to connect Elvis's death to her. And, oh my God, I feel the same way I felt when Elvis died. But you don't. You're sad. It's not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Tragic. And look at Whitney's legacy. Whitney's legacy is a record collection and a history of music that she changed the world, awards and everything. Twitch's legacy, he came from nothing and he became this great guy. So You Think You Can Dance, and became Ellen's DJ. Then he became a producer, a young black kid from the streets, changed the world. Look at him. And when I see his kids, when they're a little older, and I see Allison, I'm going to say it to their kids. What I say is, I love what your father did in this world. He changed the world. That's all you have to say. And then you walk away. You don't have to say, I'm sorry he's dead. I'm sorry he died. You just talk about the best parts of him. Now with my partner, he was a photographer. Everybody talks about his great photography. I don't talk about the suicide. I don't talk about the hanging. I don't talk about that I found him, and 12 years later, I'm still suffering during the holidays. I talk about the beautiful photographs. I met someone who knew him when he was alive, and I just went to lunch with them. They wanted to talk to me about what happened. And, I don't want to talk about it, but you have to. Hi, Natalie. That's my old assistant, Natalie, that just signed in.
Rock mom?
She worked with, she has a beautiful line of clothing. She just worked with me with Janet Jackson.
Oh, did she?
I
That's Natalie. Hey, Natalie, welcome. You're now a
Natalie,
Lovity. Once you sign in, you are a Lovity.
Natalie's got to come on the show and talk about her Rock
Yes.
Mom clothing line. You'll love it.
Oh, that's the
So
name of it? Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, you'll love it. So I came out of you know, I gave this guy one of Merle's photos and it was signed. And he goes, "You sure you want to give this away?" And I go, "Yeah, I want to give it away." So giving away a signed photo is like, okay, I'm letting pieces of him go now.
Yeah.
And his legacy is he was so kind, my boyfriend. He was so nice. He was so lovely. He was the balance of the worst of me. I say we were the yin and yang. If you couldn't stand me, you could stand Merle, and he'd make it all work. So at the end of
Was
the
he
day,
in the industry?
yeah, he was a photographer. Merle Allen. He was amazing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Amazing, amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And look, just here it is, guys. We talk about him today. We talk about Twitch today. When we talk about Twitch, when we talk about Whitney, when we talk about Merle, and we talk about these people and Lisa, and then we say why they were great, they're with us.
Right.
They're
Right,
with us right now.
exactly.
No tragedy. It's
Yeah.
sad, but they're with us. They're with us.
Exactly.
And you
Yeah.
know what? Lisa would want you to say you're sad. She would want you to say it hurts. She would want you to say, "I'm falling apart because this happened," because so was she when her son Benjamin passed away from suicide.
Do you think
Not
she
2
would
years
be
ago.
No, I know. Yeah, that was a
21,
total
20, was
Do you think she,
2020?
do you think she would be surprised by this outpouring of grief for her passing, Lisa Marie? You think she
Yeah,
would she
I don't think that Lisa really felt that she had value. I remember when she shot Versace with Donatella Versace, the campaign, she was gorgeous. And when she shot with Kevin, she was gorgeous. I think that she was at Kevin Aquan's funeral when Kevin passed away, the famous makeup artist. I think she was sitting in the dark at the gathering at his house. It's tragic. She lost a lot of people in her life, and I think that she would be shy about the outpouring because I really still do think she was a very private person. But I know that her older daughter is suffering, and the twins lost their mom. It's not about all of us, how we feel. It's about these kids.
Yeah, yeah,
So
right,
that's
yeah.
kind of where my brain is. And I wasn't close to the children, so I couldn't reach out. But if I ever see them, I'll tell them why I love their mom. I'll tell them why I love their grandma. I'll tell Priscilla why I love their daughter, because I want to hear why people love my boyfriend. When people call me, they go, "Did he leave a note? What did the note say?" Don't ever say that when someone commits suicide, people. Don't ever ask if they leave a note. Say something kind. Ask if I need something. Ask how I'm holding up. Share your grief and we can share it together. But, you know,
In your case, there's all of these friends and this history and family on his side. Did they stay with you after he passed?
no, it was terrible. Actually, I had a
Really?
terrible experience. Money disappeared. Lots of things were bad. It's in my book, but It I survived suicide alone. I had my friend Randy Florkey and his partner Sean Patrick Maloney, who is a senator, a state senator. They were my best friends for 30 years. My friend Sue Walker. Those three people, my friend Janet Shabetta, those three people showed up. And Randy and Sean's a state senator. He's in my backyard chopping wood, cutting my lawn because he didn't know what else to do. And Sue sat on my couch for 4 days and just stared and told me she loved me. She didn't know what to do, but you know what? That's exactly what you do.
Mm,
The hard part is when they left. I had a therapist. Her name is Dr. April Martin. She's in New York. If you guys, she's not taking on new people, but I'm going to tell you something. My mother called her and said Merle died. She called me every half an hour. Half an hour. I'm talking every half an hour. 12 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30. The next day, it was every hour. The next day, she spread it out to every 2.5 hours. This went on for a week. Do you know that I could look forward to that call, that she would say, "Hey, it's April. How you doing?" That's all she said. I would cry, I would talk, and then she'd say, I'll talk to you in an hour. That's a therapist. And she didn't charge me for those calls, and she didn't
Mm.
look for money for those calls. And you want to know something? She carried me through the grief and the shock of what I saw. Surviving suicide is horrible. Surviving a death like Lisa Marie's right now is horrible. The ones left behind need desperate support. They don't, that's why I didn't come on and talk about mess. They don't need terrible stories in the press. We don't have a right to really know what happened, even though we want to know. You have no right to know what happened in the privacy of their home.
Mm.
So tell TMZ and everybody to stop digging, and stop trying to find out the news. It's like, whatever. What's it going to make you feel better that she was worse off than you were, or that it was a medical emergency? We don't need that information. The
No,
information we need is how we spread love to each other so that one of us
I
doesn't kill
agree.
ourselves
I
or do
agree.
too many drugs and die.
I
How do
agree
we do that?
110%. I agree
Yes,
110% with it. I that stuff never turns me on. I'm never
yes,
interested in any of that. And plus, I might also have a certain feeling about that person. Maybe
yes.
I
And
I
don't ruin it. Don't
and
ruin
and
it.
it sort of bursts the bubble if they try to come up with all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff about this, that, and the other. If you go into anybody's houses, nothing is perfect. You know what I
No.
mean? So
Everybody
yeah.
has a dirty room or a junk drawer.
And when somebody
Yeah.
passes, you honor them and their loved ones and their family, and it's a very sad time. It's a sudden loss, and it's a difficult time. And like you said, the kids now, the mom is gone, and while everybody's looking at all of just
Mom's gone.
the public view of it all, there's a family that's been affected,
Two
and they're
young
going through.
two
Yeah,
young twins.
and
2
like you
little
say, Priscilla lost her daughter.
She lost her
Um,
daughter, she lost her husband, and she lost her grandson.
And anybody who's experienced any loss in life should understand that. See, I always approach things that way myself, even though you and I work in these industries where we're amongst all these people and we're in this world of media and entertainment and television and stage and film and radio and all of these things. I still have never been somebody who needed to know, what went on behind the door to a degree where it sort of devalues them or defames them
Yeah,
or attacks their character or ruins them. And especially when somebody passes, it
yeah,
just doesn't it I don't know. It's just I know there's a hunger for that and there's a thirst for that out there. Um, I just never drank from that well. You know what I mean? There's somebody beautiful spirit and had struggles and still was out there and doing her thing as best as she could and passed. And now you honor, you
yeah,
remember, and you
uh-huh,
honor. And the sadness is that she's gone at 54, and there was so much more of her
yeah,
um, to give and
yeah,
to receive.
yeah.
And she
Well, yeah,
probably gave a lot
yeah, and
more.
my partner was gone at 46, and back then I thought that was old. That was so young,
Yes.
So the
Yes.
thing is, I did the show today, Jim, because I love you, number one, I really do, but I also feel that I said to my mom, said, "Why are you doing a show today?" Because I did one for the News Nation. I got asked to do another one. I said, "No, I trust you." And I said, "If we can share some love, which we did today, if we can talk about addiction and about suicide and about healing, which we did today, that's how the world changes. And when I'm dead, whether I die tomorrow in a car accident or I die in 20 years, it makes me cry. When I'm dead, hopefully this show goes on and people find their way, out of tragedy because we talked about it and we didn't make it taboo and we found a way out because we love each other. And this show will stay in the archives and it will go on and you'll watch it and somebody else could be in you hashtag suicide or you hashtag overdose. And guess what? Someone could click on this show next week and hear us all and all the ladies in the chat room talking and go, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. There's phone meetings. Wait, there's computer meetings. I can get help. So this is how you change the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Beautifully said, my friend, on
Yeah.
so many different levels. Um, Your mom and your brother. You're at your mom's house. Matter of fact, I think you were saying hanging up behind us is a Tina Turner
There's
outfit?
Tina Turner's skirt from the Wildest Dreams tour. It's been getting sold as an NFT, so we're working on a huge auction for it. I mean, the skirt and the top as one dress was worth 75,000. So I have it out here in Jersey. That's just the skirt. It's all Swarovski crystals. And that jacket behind it, actually, remember the saxophone player in Tina Turner's band, the big muscular guy with the shirt off? That's
Oh, yeah.
actually his jacket from the world tour. I still have one of his jackets. So I'm just in the, I keep a studio at my mom's because she's 84 and she needs some help. So I come out here and I can work.
That's so beautiful of you to do that, you know?
She's my mom. What are you supposed to do? We're
With this whole life you've had and all these places you've been and all these people you've been with and all the red carpets and the lights and all of it, and here you are with mom in her
we say
home in New Jersey on a weekend afternoon, making sure she's okay.
you have to.
That's what it's really all about.
Remember Cara from your show that came on the show, Cara Young?
Cara Young,
I
yes.
had a
She's
real
wonderful.
I had a real tragedy about a year ago with my brother's health. And do you know that all of a sudden we couldn't get money for his medicine, and I've made a lot of money, but it's also a lot got lost after the suicide. I made a lot of money, but you know what? She saw that we had a need. Do you know that Cara Young, she may not want me to say this, but she started sending HelloFresh 2 meals a day, 5 days a week. Do you know she's done that for almost a year and a half? Do you know the
Really?
boxes arrive, and when I open the box, and I cook, I think of her with so much love, how she took care of my family, and she didn't have to do that. So it's just, and you did the show. She's a huge supermodel. Why would she have to care about my family? But that's what you do when you want people to feel love and you want
Yes.
people to have hope. I had no hope about a year ago. My brother was very sick. He got PV from the World Trade Center. I've told you about it, Jim.
Yeah.
And I put up a GoFundMe, and now we're struggling again to get our money. It's so tough. But you know what? It's my brother. And I said to my older brother, who's a preacher, I said, Todd, I said, your church will bring in bums off the street. I shouldn't call them bums, homeless off the street, and you'll give them a meal and money. But I said, you can't look at your own brother suffering. I said, that's not how this works. That's not how it works. So I hope that I have been able to. I became the suicide hotline after my partner died because everybody started calling me asking for advice. And my therapist finally said, you can't manage this yet. You cannot be talking about suicide every day. So now if people need me, everybody that's watching, it's Wayne Scott Lukas Style, WayneScotLukasTyle. You can type it up, Natalie. Wayne Scott Lukas Style on Instagram, and you can message me and I'll talk to you and I'll give you resources. And I'll give you. I once had a friend that was suicidal that used to call me and go, I want to cry. I'm going to die. I'm going to kill myself today. So I finally go like this. I go, listen. And she was shocked. I said, hang up the phone, breathe, call me back. And when you call me back, ask me how I am. And I hung up the phone. And she called back. She said, hi, this is so-and-so. I said, hello. She said, how's your day? And I said, I'm doing okay. How are you? And then she told me about her suicidal thoughts. But what that did was I separated her for 60 seconds from it's all about me. I'm in tragedy. I'm crashing. And I made her take a second and ask about me. So then I could
Mm,
take the focus back to surviving suicide, but I didn't let it be all about this calling someone and raging on them about how much you want to die. Let's talk about facts. Why do you want to die? Why are you sad? Did you get help? Are your meds on point? Are you taking medicine? Do you need a psychiatrist? And how can I set you up with somebody to help you? Because I'll say it again, suicide is preventable. Heart disease is preventable if we really, really work on our health and our medicines and all kinds of stuff. So, there's going to be tragic deaths, but there's also going to be untragic life. So let's try to live some untragic life that's as shocking as tragic death. Wouldn't that be great?
absolutely
If I
right.
call and say, can you guys believe that Jim lived? And look how great he's doing. No one ever says that. They
They
say,
don't
can you
say
believe
that.
someone died?
Yeah, right,
Guess what?
exactly.
My friend Jim Masters lived today. And he's doing a radio show and he's trying to change the world. And my friend Natalie, my old assistant, is raising children. Her father passed away this year. She was devastated. She started a new business and she's trying to find the way. Guess what? My friend Natalie lived today. My friend Jim is alive today. My mom downstairs got all of her meds today. She's walking and she's happy. You know, my dog that is 16 didn't pass away today. Now that's how we talk about blessings and not about the tragedy of death.
How is your mom doing?
She's doing good. She got a very bad back, stenosis, scoliosis, so much stuff. But, you know, she
What's her
teaches
first name?
Barbara.
Barbara. We love you, Barbara. You're a lovity.
She teaches about 4 Bible studies. So she actually helps
Oh,
women.
does she really?
Yeah, women's Bible studies. It's called SALT. It's in New Jersey. If anybody's in New Jersey, it's on Monday and Wednesday mornings. And she was the leader until this year. She couldn't be the leader anymore, but she still teaches ladies and she's a teacher. And you know what? I guess you could say I've been surrounded by God. And we have had very rough times in this family, but we always have a source. And that's where my strength comes from. And if people think God isn't real, I'm telling you, I'm here. I'm still here. And
Yes.
I found my way. And
how's your brother doing?
my brother's suffering. If I mean, if you can post his link for GoFundMe, it would help. We're desperate. He got PV blood cancer from the World Trade Center. You know, everybody that says, "Oh, you should be doing this money," there's money. You know what? Everybody out there, don't suggest to people that are suffering from the World Trade Center that you see those commercials where there's money. It'll take 18 months before my brother would even see a dime from what happened. And in 18 months, the phlebotomies for his surgery and his blood thinning it's $125 to show up at the doctor.
Just to show up.
Then you have to pay. He's on disability. That's not $125.
So tell our viewers what he did, what his passion, what his career was.
Well, my dad built the World Trade Center, the original. My dad built the World Trade Center, and my dad became best friends with that famous guy that did the tightrope across the World Trade Center.
Oh, yes.
My dad was his friend. My dad was a construction worker. He came from the Ukraine. He was born here, but he had 17 or 18 brothers and sisters. They settled in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. And then they traveled down to Edgewater, New Jersey, which was a dump then. It was worse than Angela's Ashes, but now it's like the hottest place to live. And my father became a construction worker, and he built the New Jersey Turnpike, I-95, and most of the bridges in New Jersey. So whenever you travel over the highways, I think of my dad.
Wow.
And he built the original World Trade Center. And then after the attacks, my father brought my brother into construction, and my brother went in, and all the construction workers were asked, many of them, to volunteer. And if they volunteered, if there was work to rebuild, they were going to get the first jobs. So my brother went in and he volunteered, and he worked in the pit of the World Trade Center, to the point that no one knows this. My brother had to change his clothes 2 and 3 times a day because the water from the debris, all full of asbestos and chemicals, and the ocean, it was rushing in, and the pipes were leaking on the men. So the men were getting covered in these chemicals every day. He would change his clothes 3 times a day to stay dry. And he did that for a long time. I think he was at the World Trade Center for 2 years, because then he got the job. And he was so proud to bring his children, Ian and Aaron, down to see the site. We were all so proud that we survived. And now, years later, he's got PV blood cancer from the chemicals at the Trade Center. And he's in a lawsuit about it, but he completely lost the use of his left arm and his left leg. This is what he was 300 pounds, 298 pounds, and now he's 160. And he's getting blood clots in his brain. And we're having to pay for that medicine, which is so expensive. And he's just suffering. And, you know, when people are on disability or Social Security, it sounds charming. And as the government is trying to stop those 2 programs, my brother won't survive. No matter how rich you think I was or am, you can't pay for your mom, your own, and your family's medical when the world is falling apart. So I did a GoFundMe. His name is Scot Lukas, SeanLukas. And then I also put up my Venmo and my Zelle, because people can send to me, and then it goes right into a beneficiary account that my mom manages for him. And then we pay for his medicine, and we pay for whatever he needs. But he's going to pass away. He can't afford the medicine, and he can't afford all the treatments. And he told me last night, he goes, "I'm not going to make it." He goes, "This room is my coffin." And it just broke my heart. But that's when I called my therapist and I said, "What do I do?" She said, You're doing all you can do. You can't save people that aren't saving themselves, even if they don't have the money to save themselves, because you'll throw more money at it. So at least if I can get him money to get him as healed as he can be, because he has 2 children, and let him last as long as he can. It's a tragedy that we have people that suffered because they tried to help the nation rebuild the World Trade Center. That really breaks my heart. That all those commercials you see are just lawyers trying to make money. It's not necessarily people giving money to thank these people for all they did, you know?
Yeah.
So he's suffering, but again, he's very God-based. He gets very down, but he knows God is his source. My mom knows it too. So there's prayers going up, and there's churches, praying. And on my Facebook page, there's a GoFundMe and there's links. And I tell people $10. If 10 people give $10, I can pay $100 toward his phlebotomy. 10 people, $10. So, it's tough because I don't think I can even provide anymore at this point, because I'm taking care of my mom and other stuff. So no complaints, no drama. But when we talk about everybody's life looking fabulous, what looks fabulous is that we stick together, we talk about it. And I'm sure there's people out there that have people that worked at the World Trade Center. There's people out there with cancer watching the show. My mom survived radical hysterectomy in 79, and she's now, God, what is that, almost 50 years cancer-free or 40 years cancer-free. So it's a blessing. So guess what? Screaming out, mom's alive, my brother's alive, Jim's alive, Natalie's alive, all of us, Merlin's alive, Jane's alive, all these people on watching the show are alive. Let's cheer for that. Let's cheer for that. And then when we lose them, we're going to know that while they were alive, I always love the point of telling people's eulogies while they're alive. Me and my friend make jokes about it all the time. My friend Cara has forced us at birthdays and it's hard because you get embarrassed. But when there's a birthday, she forces you to get up and everyone tells why they love the person. And you have to sit through 15 people saying why they love them. And my favorite thing is it's so diverse, because if I told you why I loved you, Jim, and then Merlin told you and Jane told you, we'd all have different reasons why we love you. And then if Lisa Marie's children and their mom tell you why they love their mom, and Danny and Benjamin before he died, everybody's going to love her for different reasons. So for everybody within listening out there, lots of people love you for lots of different reasons. So if you don't love yourself today, try to hear the little tiny person that says, I love the way you make potatoes au gratin. I love how you put the napkin next to the plate at Thanksgiving. Mom, don't think I didn't see that ornament from when I was 3 years old that you're still putting on the Christmas tree. Because you know what? Even if we're too embarrassed to tell people why we love them, they love you. They do. And everybody out there, you're doing the right things. You're doing the best you can. You really are doing the best you can. And I'm sorry that you lost Lisa. I'm sorry that we lost Whitney. I'm sorry you lost your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. No loss that you've all suffered out there is more tragic than another. When my boyfriend passed away, I learned something very important, and this is just about me, but I'll share it. I started to notice, because my therapist had lost her son. He was born and then he passed away. And I was in bed one night and I started to think, I thought, you know what? This is not my pain. This is not Priscilla Presley's pain. What we're experiencing for all of us out there is this is universal pain and universal sadness. We all have tragic pain. And I can't judge if you lost a bet and that makes you sad and painful, or if your dog died. It's not about us judging how much things hurt people, because I'm finding that there's universal pain and there's universal sadness. And my therapist's son dying is no better or worse than my boyfriend dying. The problem is how we grieve and how we heal from that. So there's universal pain and then there's universal love. So don't judge someone else's level of, oh, well, they just lost a dog, or it just was their cousin second removed. Don't judge the pain. It's pain. The world runs on pain and love. Find the love. Deborah Cox told me this, and I would love her to listen in. I was really trying to pick a job at one point, and I couldn't figure out what job I wanted. First, I was trying to buy a house, and Christy Brinkley said, walk the property and find a place that you can sit. And when you find a place you can sit, and you're in love and you're happy there, that's the house you buy. Find a place with moments. And I've never forgotten that. And then I was meeting Deborah Cox, and Deborah Cox had dinner with me one night, and she's a very famous singer, and she's wonderful, and she's God filled. And I said, I don't know where to work. I don't know who to call. She goes, Wayne, I have a couple words for you. It's going to change your life. She said, go to where the love is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I'm going to end it, Jim.
Yes.
Go to where the love is. When you have choices, what teacher for your child, what Cub Scout group, what church group, what grocery store to shop in, go to where the love is. And if you can't figure out where the love is, then get to the therapist.
That must be why you keep returning to the Jim Masters show, because you know that the love and levity is right here, my friend.
I'm here.
We really appreciate your stopping by. I know you're very busy. There's a lot going on. You're being called upon in a lot of different areas. You're there, with your mom, which I really think is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm very family oriented as well, and yeah, that's what it's truly what it's all about. It's I always say my parents are executive producers. We work with a lot of executive producers, but they are the ultimate executive producers because they produced us.
Somebody once said, your parents can push your buttons because they installed them.
I like that too, right?
How funny is that?
Yeah.
So I just know that, I'm starting to love doing the on-camera stuff because I'm starting to see that if I don't make it about the tragedy and I make it about the love, the world's going to shift.
Yes.
What am I here for? To dress people, to write a book, to do one more, to change my dad's diaper when he was dying of cancer. What was I here for? Yeah, I was. Guess what? That's what I was here for. My dad was passing away and he was on the hospital bed. We brought him home. I did Janet Jackson in Hawaii and I flew home. And I always say to people, I went from changing Janet's underwear to changing my dad's diaper. My big, strong dad, who I told you built the World Trade Center. And mom didn't hire a nurse. We couldn't find a nurse. So it was me. So I was changing diapers and I didn't know how to do it. And I was the gay son and he was straight and tough and he didn't want me to take his clothes. It was terrible, terrible, but it was the best thing I ever did. But I'll never forget when I was down by Merlin, I was down on the floor and I was unhooking this catheter from a bag, which you've all seen and done. And I was wiping him with towels and stuff. And I remembered in the Bible, the lady that I had long hair back then too. And I remember the lady in the Bible who washed Jesus's feet with her tears and she dried them with her, and she dried his feet with her hair.
Yeah.
And I was on the floor and my hair was hanging down in my face and I'm washing the catheter and getting up to clean my father. And I thought, I got to know that this is a historical thing you do when it comes to love. You love till there's no more love to give. And when I do a show like this, or I go on stage and I talk, I pray, I say, God, open, you guys can try this at home. I say, God, open my heart. And I said, God, right before I go on, I go, you've opened my heart. I can feel it. Now rip it open 10 times wider. And then I say, shoot the love through my eyes and my teeth. I see like light beams because I want it to come out of me or it's not worth us doing it.
Very true, my friend.
Look, I'm crying.
Yeah, absolutely. And the mascara's not running either.
We're having a fun. I can't. My eyelashes are dark. They were always long as a kid. I don't know.
Right.
It's good light. I have a ring flash on. I can turn us different colors. Let's see, blue, yellow.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you can do that without even have to apply makeup. That's cool.
Nah, I can't do the makeup. I did a little under eye stuff because I looked like I was a tired old lady today. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Wow. Yeah.
So go to where the love is. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.org, AFSP.org. There's Al-Anon meetings everywhere. Type in Al-Anon in your Google. There are AA meetings for drugs and alcohol anywhere. Those meetings will help you even if you are not an alcoholic or an alcoholic. You will learn something and it is free therapy and you are worth it.
Absolutely, my friend. Thanks really for stopping by. It was good to see you, under these circumstances, of course, we are sad with the passing of Lisa Marie Presley. But thanks for stopping by and sharing some of your, personal stories and the inspiration and the wonderful remembrances of Lisa Marie and the way that you did. And it's always great chatting with you, my friend. Even when it's happier circumstances, but to the Presley family and fans and everybody, they're all around the world. We send our deepest condolences and our love and levity from me and mine and the lovities here at the Jim Masters Show, of course, Wayne as well. And this was really beautiful, spending time just, remembering a beautiful
Right.
soul and the way that we
Isn't
did.
that
And
nice?
yeah, and just put this together quickly
Yeah.
and you
No
popped
hate, no drama. Tell me why you love her.
on. Right.
You know, you wanted to go do gossip, go somewhere else.
Exactly right. Like Marsha Watson says, it was a magical hour and a half. Thank you, Marsha Watson, one of our lovities, and all the
Thank you,
viewers
Marsha.
watching live, all those who will watch this later on. We appreciate that as well, gang. And if you really enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up. There's a thumbs up on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment for us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. That's where hundreds, almost 1,000 episodes of this series are here for you.
I love you,
Wayne
Maureen.
Scott Lukas, you're truly amazing. And Mr. George Burns comes back in again just to say
Oh
hello to you.
no.
He's back.
Oh, George
He
Burns.
always looks so. Now, you are a celebrity fashion stylist and designer. He always looks so dapper.
He's
He's
dapper and he's vintage. Tell him good night, Gracie, and go to where the love is.
exactly right. He's with Gracie. He's where the love is. You're the best, my
I
friend.
love you.
Love right back at you, and love to your mom and your brother and the family. Thanks for being also so real, authentic, and open with us. You didn't have to do that. We were remembering Lisa Marie Presley, but you also opened up and shared about your own life because you never know who's watching live. You never know.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of our regulars and a lot of new people commenting in the chat room, which we love. But there's a lot of people that watch quietly who don't necessarily chat in the chat room when the show's on, who will find inspiration and a beautiful remembrance of Lisa Marie, but also at the same time, maybe in some of the conversations that we had, um, it will help them through something and maybe they'll find some healing in their own life as well. So
100%, and that's the magic.
it really is, my friend. You be well, and we'll keep the porch light on for you. Keep spreading the sunshine. And as always, you're welcome back anytime, my friend.
If anybody wants to give to my brother, you can go to my Facebook page. You can tell them where it is, Jim, and I'll put up another link just to help out. But it would help. Hello.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Everybody go and definitely do that. Kathleen Walker says we will remember Lisa Marie fondly.
Yes. God
And
bless her.
Dana Ricker says, such a great spiritual loaded show. We are blessed. Maureen in Arizona, one of our dear lovities, when you inspire me to be a better person. A magical hour and a half from Marcia. And Maureen, thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate that. She says, may God continue to bless you, Wayne. Thank you for being such a wonderful human.
I
The
love
world
that.
is lucky to have you. And she did it in my favorite color, green, positive Irish green. Thank you very much, Maureen. That is very beautiful for you to do that. Wayne, again, give Barbara a kiss from Jim.
Whenever you're here, come visit because you're going to love meeting her.
Oh, that would be fantastic, huh?
You'll absolutely love her. She's I'm going to send you a post for the link to my brother, but she's
She's a
she's just
lovity.
she's going to love you, and she's going to love all the ladies. So
Absolutely.
God
You're the
bless them all.
You as well, Wayne. Thanks for stopping by as we remember Lisa Marie Presley. And again, blessings to the Presley family and all the fans and love to you and your family as well, my friend. Okay.
Absolutely.
Stay in touch. We'll chat again, I'm sure, before you know it in a New York minute.
Well, spread some love this weekend, guys.
Absolutely right, my friend. You take
Take
care.
care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Wayne Scott Lukas here on the Jim Masters Show as we were taking a moment in this impromptu show to remember Lisa Marie Presley. And while doing that at the same time, having a wonderful opportunity to catch up with Wayne Scott Lukas. If this is the first time you've learned about Wayne, Wayne is a renowned celebrity fashion stylist and designer. He's worked with some of the major names in music and film and television. And again, he just, is a big fan of our show. And when we were talking about wanting to do something to celebrate, to remember Lisa Marie's life, kind of like you may remember, Larry King. Remember when Larry King was on CNN, and whenever there was a passing of somebody, he would always spend about an hour and bring people in that knew the person. And if he knew them, he would talk about his remembrances as well and celebrate the person's life. And you don't really see that as much anymore out there. Of course, Larry's not with us, but you just don't see that kind of thing. We've done that as well. There have been people who have passed that have been guests on our show that we've celebrated. Remember Sky Aubrey, the legendary Hollywood actress? We did a whole celebratory show remembering her life. Of course, a dear friend of mine, Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes, who, believe it or not, just 2 days ago was the 1-year anniversary of her passing. It's hard to believe that she passed a year ago. I did an impromptu personal celebration of her life with some personal photos that we shared, and felt compelled to do that because she was a spectacular person, Ronnie, and other folks. There was somebody, you probably saw it in the news, those of you in the tri-state area, that I knew personally. He was a Connecticut state representative. His name was Quentin Q. Williams, and he was serving his 3rd term as a state representative. And I knew him through a wonderful event that I've hosted for about 10 years, which helps the homeless. It finds shelter for the homeless, and that's through Columbus House. And it's a fabulous event. Matter of fact, it's coming up in March. I'll be emceeing and hosting it again it's their 20th year, and this would be my 10th year emceeing it. It's called Chocolate to the Rescue, and it's a beautiful event to raise funds for Columbus House. And Quentin would always be there, and we developed a friendship. And he was just about, well, we were in Florida with our family on our extended holiday vacation. They had the inauguration for the governor of Connecticut. And also Quentin was sworn in again for his 3rd term. Very fantastic person. I'm sure, it's been actual national news because he was a state representative. And he was coming home from the inaugural ball, and he was driving on one of the routes. It was Route 9 in Connecticut. And there was a wrong-way driver that crashed into him, and their cars exploded. And he passed, and the female driver that was driving the wrong way at night on the road, on the highway, she passed as well. So it's been big news, and we knew him personally. And then actually, we haven't mentioned this. I think we have a little bit on our Facebook page, but you may remember somebody who was a very passionate guest on our show, and he was with us in the summertime, live from London, England, during the Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. And he was our resident JMS correspondent, Thomas Mace Archer Mills. Remember when Thomas was on the show and he was reporting live from on location in London in front of Buckingham Palace? And we had him on for 2 days. We had him on the Saturday and the Sunday, and you can still see those episodes on our YouTube channel. It was this past Sunday. You can see all the episodes, not Sunday, it was this past summer when Thomas Mace Archer Mills, who founded the British Monarchists Society. He was from America, but then he made his home in London. He was very supportive of everything the royal family. And he was a featured JMS correspondent in London for our show. And he was fantastic. He was on location and mobs of people. And he sent us all kinds of video and clips. And we had him live from London, England for 2 days for the entire weekend. Well, we got the word believe it or not, and this might be shocking to some because we haven't necessarily publicly said anything, but we learned that he passed away. He was only 43 years old, and he passed away only about 2 weeks ago of pneumonia. He was battling pneumonia for a few weeks, and he died. He passed away. And again, he was a big friend of our show. He loved chatting with all of the Lovedies when he was here on the show as a guest. We were going to have him come on again, and he and I were chatting, off air too. I chat a lot. The guests and I that you see, all the hundreds and hundreds of guests have come through here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. We become friends. If we weren't already friends before, they came on the show, we become friends. And they all ask, when can I come back on the show? Because they like our vibe and they like the conversational style and they like the interactivity that I allow viewers to interact with us here in the way that you guys do. And that's unique and rare. A lot of shows don't do that, but I like to bring the viewers in because they're sort of like our studio audience. And he enjoyed being on the show. He enjoyed celebrating the British monarchy in the way that he did, with his passion and spirit. And we learned just a matter of days ago that he passed away, 43 years old, pneumonia, which he battled greatly, but it took him. So we send our love, of course, out to his family and friends and to our friends at the British Monarchist Society. And we remember Thomas Mace Archer Mills again, who was a wonderful, passionate person and a guest on our show. And he was here for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee just this past summer. And if you want to see those episodes, they're on the YouTube channel. And we're going to keep them there. We have all the episodes on our series on our channel. And so we send our love out to his family and friends as well, who, of course, are very devastated at his loss at only 43 years old. So, yeah, there's, you never know what goes on. And we try to, as much as we can, remember everybody and celebrate the lives and celebrate people. And life isn't perfect, and some people live in the spotlight, some people live quiet, private lives. However you live, as Wayne was talking about, and as I wholeheartedly agree, surround yourself with love, surround yourself with the positive things, positive energy, surround yourself with people that aren't negative and toxic. There's a lot of that out there. Surround yourself with joy and share it with the world. And with all the fun we have and the festivity and the levity and these deep conversations sometimes and all the other cool things that happen here on JMS, it always sort of circles back to the fact that we're on this planet for a short time. And, we need each other and empathy and kindness. And I know for some that sounds very Pollyanna, idealistic, sounds like an episode of the Brady Bunch. But if you look at what's going on in our world, maybe we can use a little bit more of that, right? Just to calm things down, bring people together in the way that we can. So, we try to do that with all the guests that come through, celebrity friends that I've interviewed on television over the years, and others who come through who become friends of our show, or friends of mine that come through, new people that we discover. Whatever it is you get from our series, we thank you so very, very much for being here. We're going to be here tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with country music star Sam Lowe. We're excited about that. And each day is a blessing. And with my crazy schedule, as I said, I was just on a television shoot. Here it is at the time of this broadcast. It's a Saturday morning. And I was in the studio since 8 a.m. and then rushed here to make sure, because we have the show live at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then we're on tonight. And then we've got a show tomorrow as well. And another great performer, and shows all next week. Whatever it is you're getting out of the Jim Masters Show live series, let us know. Interact with us. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel. Give us a like, thumbs up. Drop us a line on Facebook at Jim Masters TV or Instagram at Jim Masters TV. Also, drop us a line on Twitter at Jim Masters TV. We're at all those locations, and we appreciate those of you who do that. We appreciate all the love and the support. Those of you who do super chat, super emoji, super stickers when the show's on. Those of you who do the heart icon super thanks on our YouTube channel, which we're able to do 24/7, we say thank you as well. And, when I turned these lights on almost 3 years ago and almost, 1,000 episodes ago, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was me just chatting to camera and just chatting. Hey, I'm Jim Masters. I'm a television and radio personality, and this is what I do. And I'm here in the United States, and I've been doing this for a long time. And let's connect. Let's say hi. Let's bring in George Burns and all the other cast of characters that we have here. And yeah, so there is, I do have to show you something here. Maybe I should do it. I know we've been celebrating the life of Lisa Marie Presley, but I do have something that arrived. Actually, I got several things. The other thing I want to show is I can't get up out of the chair to grab it, but I'll do it on another episode. But I got this, look at this beautiful box that came over the holidays from one of our lovely viewers. Now, I've done this multiple times, but I want to thank you very much, all of you who have sent gifts and beautiful Christmas cards, and those of you who just randomly send notes. You email, you send messages on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to us. I thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. And the gifts and the cards over the holidays, and birthdays and everything, I value them, and I have a whole collection. There's a whole Jim Masters show, sort of shrine that's starting from all the beautiful, and I have every note you've sent and every message and card and gift that you guys have sent. The pecans that have come from Ann Wozniak, we don't have those because we ate them. The spices and rubs from Mona in Louisiana, we still have a little bit of those left. We use those in our salads and soups and on the steaks and chicken, and very delicious. This came from Maureen, lovely Maureen in Arizona. And it's a beautiful gift. And there's another gift that I'll have to get and show you on another episode. But this is right here sitting next to George Burns. Wait till you see this. Don't go anywhere yet, folks, because this is a big reveal. I was going to do this on a separate show, but, since we're all here together and there's so many of you here and it's an afternoon and I got to get ready to eat soon. I'm going to have to eat before the next show. We're on in a couple of hours here. Now, you saw the George Burns, right? And you've seen some of the other characters. And of course, you've seen the I Dream a Genie bottle, and you've seen Gilligan, who was sent to us, the Gilligan bobblehead doll from Gilligan's Island, Bob Denver from the lovely Dream of Denver, his wife, who was a guest on our show multiple times. You saw the Don Full of Love bobblehead that came from Don Full of Love, and that's the Mayor Goldie Wilson bobblehead from the movie Back to the Future, and all the other things that we have, Lin, the panda, and all these other lovely casts of characters that we have around here at Lovety Hall, as we call it. Well, look at this. You ready, gang? We should have a countdown, right? This is really cool. And this is really fantastic. This is really, well, I just laughed, and and the family and friends, because this came when we were away for almost 20 days with our family and friends, and the beautiful Christmas and New Year's we had in Florida. And we posted, probably if you see on Facebook, you saw the video, and you guys, whenever we go away, you guys sort of are on the trips with me. When I was in California on the multi-day TV project in Napa Valley just this past week, you were following along with all the photos and the videos, and you sort of join us, which I think is great. And people have been doing that for years, following where I go with my travels, working in television and radio and stage and film and all the rest. Look at this. Now, this is cool. Mr. Lovety. We've got a Mr. Lovety bobblehead doll here. and it says Mr. Lovety. Now, isn't that cool? It's like a mini Jim Masters here. This came from Maureen Paul, one of our faithful loveties. I guess there's different tiers of loveties you guys have, and she's in the one group, I guess. And matter of fact, I got a chance to meet her and Kathleen Walker, another fabulous lovety. When we were in New York City, Maureen was visiting the city, and she came from Arizona, and she was visiting the city to see her sister for the birthday. And I think it was it was fantastic. We had such a great time. Matter of fact, we were at Sardi's restaurant in New York City, and it was so incredible. We closed the place. We were there so long. We were supposed to go to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum afterwards. We ended up not going because we ended up leaving Sardi's. We met, what, 2 in the afternoon for lunch/dinner, drinks, dessert, the whole bit. And I've been to Sardi's in New York City many times. Love the place. I had suggested to the ladies, Maureen and Kathleen, would you like to go to Sardi's for dinner? And we met. Kathleen I've known for years, but, we met. It was a trifecta of levity, and it was very, very cool. We had such a cool time, but we were there so long, we actually closed the place. They're not closed permanently. What I mean is we closed the place. We were there till they started sweeping the floors. We felt that if we had to sweep floors, then we were going to sweep the floors, but we were there till right around midnight, and I think we got there around 2:00. We had a beautiful table in the middle, and it was just there were people coming in and out. It was just, they were coming for dinner, and then they were gone, and more people would come. It was just great. Anyway, I digress. Look at the Mr. Lovety here. Isn't this cool? This was a Christmas gift from Maureen, our lovely viewer and friend of our show, big supporter of our show. She just did the super chat. She's one of our biggest supporters. She supports us so many different ways. She tells people. She's always contacting, writing. She loves what we do. She loves the vibe, and she did this, which I think was really beautiful. And she does the super chat, super emoji, super stickers when she can, which helps support everything we're doing here, it is very costly to put all this together, but this is so cool. Isn't that cool? So we've got a Mr. Levity here, and there it is. So we thank you very much, Maureen, for this. You agree? He agrees. Mini Me agrees. I think this is so cool. So this is a really cool gift. Isn't this awesome? Yeah. Kathleen Walker says, Jim, you make us want to come back. You rock. Thank you very, very much, Kathleen. I appreciate that in New York City. And Kathleen, I'll bring this on another show, but Kathleen had this like big gumball machine made, and it says she had it in, it's inscribed Jim's Snacks. And she sent a box wrapped in wrapping paper for Christmas, and it's this big gumball machine. And she gave us M&Ms, multicolored M&Ms, 2 different big bags of them, the shareable kind. The shareable, one of them has all of the different kinds of colors, but some are peanuts and some of them just the chocolate. And then another of the mini M&Ms. And they were supposed to, Kathleen doesn't know this, but they were supposed to go in the gumball machine or candy machine. It's like one of those big round ones, and you twist it, and it almost as if you're putting a quarter in or something, and it comes out. Kathleen, the candy never made it into the machine. It was cleared out well before, sort of like, and we shared it. That was with the shareable ones. We shared it, but it never made it into the machine. So we're going to have to go to the store and find some replacement candy to put into the machine. And so thank you for that. We'll show it on another episode. It's an empty machine, but I want to show it when we have candy back in it. You'll buy more. Yes. Isn't that cool? Yes. The Mr. Levity bobblehead here on the Jim Master Show live here in Levity Hall as we kick off our new year continually together. Merlin says she gets information, love, and laughter. Thanks, Jim, from watching the Jim Masters show. Isn't this cool? He's right here. I love this. Thank you, Maureen. It was an epic day and evening when we were in New York City at Sardi's. Yes, it was. Yes, Merlin was shocked to hear about Thomas Mace Archer Mills, who was a guest on our show, who passed away. And if you don't know who he was and you didn't see the Platinum Jubilee episode, we did 2 live episodes from London, England, celebrating Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. And Thomas Mace Archer Mills was our special JMS correspondent because he was the founder of the British Monarchist Society. Those episodes you can see on our YouTube channel. It might be good to check that out in his memory. Again, thank you again, Maureen. We want to pay heed again to Maureen for that beautiful super chat. Thank you very much for doing that. That was really wonderful. Rock Mom, thank you for being here as well. And everybody, yes, we will remember Lisa Marie fondly, RIP. Thank you, Mr. Levity. It's so good to see you. And he'll be back. Look at him. He's all suited up. Isn't it cool? Thanks again for that. He's going to sit here right next to George Burns, and they're going to chat about life together. They'll probably split a martini as well. Maureen says as well, be grateful for every day that you wake up and put your feet on the floor. Yes. If you woke up today and you took a breath, you're winning. You're winning. Absolutely. A couple more comments here. There's a nice little chat here before we get ready. I'm going to have dinner. As I know Chris in Northern Ireland, who goes by Scream Queen Army, Chris Comber, there in the Belfast area. Thank you for that. Rest in peace, Thomas. I know. And that was a sad loss that we found out that he passed away. Only 43 of pneumonia. Awful. I had to put those letters on the base, and it was so worried they wouldn't stick. Glad they did. They are there. So, you had to manually put these letters, Mr. Levity, on the base for it to stick? Well, it sticks, and that will never go away. That's fantastic. It kind of looks like the logo too, the Mr. Levity logo there. Although my hair changes all the time, as you guys know. Just watch our series from the beginning. But if you've watched me on television, on network television or regional local television, or you've seen me in shows and different things I've done, my hair changes a lot because of the project, because of the season, because of my mood, whatever. Remember, towards the middle of our series, my hair was down to here. We did an experiment during the pandemic, and I always wanted to grow it longer, so we did. Now it's back to where I normally would have it. This is normally how I wear my hair. But during the pandemic, we had all kinds of cool styles, and it was all the way down to here, and it was kind of cool. I may do that again one day. You never know. Life is all about growing and learning and, just enjoying. So cool. I know, it's so cool, isn't it? All these wonderful treats here. Gang, we love you all. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, it is Jim Masters TV. We just hit a milestone in subscribers just 2 days ago. Thanks to all the new subscribers, all the viewers, everybody watching and supporting what we're doing here. Again, we send our love and our respect and our deepest condolences to the family of Lisa Marie Presley. From me and mine and all of us here, all of us at the Jim Masters Show, and all of our Levity viewers, we realize it's a sad loss. And with respect, we honor Lisa Marie Presley's memory as a beautiful soul that she was inside and out, never be forgotten. And all the folks we've been talking about today, as I mentioned, the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Ronnie Spector, and Thomas Mace Archer Mills, and others as well. So, You guys take care, okay? Be well. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Very special episode of the Jim Masters Show live series. We always like to do special episodes as well, remembering Lisa Marie Presley, special guest Scot Lukas, celebrity fashion stylist and designer. He was very open about his own life, real, authentic, raw. He speaks his mind. He expresses his views as he sees them, and he does it. He wears his heart on his sleeve. This is a very special episode, and we really thank all of you for being with us here on the show, and all the comments and all the levity. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern, just a couple hours from now, with Sam Lowe, coming to us. The wonderful Nashville recording artist, country music singer, songwriter, is going to be with us at 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow, which is Sunday, David Francis is going to be with us live from London, England. He's originally from America, but he's from the Seattle, Washington area, but he's been on a European tour. He just left Germany. Now he's going to be in London tomorrow. He's also going to perform live, and he really celebrates the Great American Songbook, all those classic songs. David Francis is going to be with us tomorrow. Now, it's an early time, gang. We're doing it early because in Europe, it's going to be, they're ahead of us by, we're here in the New York area, so they're about 5 hours ahead of us. And then folks in Sweden, Norway, Finland, other areas like that, Germany, they're like 6 hours ahead. So tomorrow, David will be with us at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time, which is where we are. We're here on the Eastern time zone in the New York area in the United States. So 1 p.m. Eastern, which will be 11 a.m. Pacific. So it's kind of nice here. You're waking up, you're having your brunch, your breakfast. So it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, which will be 6 p.m. in England, the UK, also Scotland and Ireland, where David is going to be. He's also going to have an accompanist with him as well, and it's going to be cool. So he's a wonderful, acclaimed singer. He's going to be with us on the show, and so many more guests. We have so many people lined up. We're already booking. We're a month out. Sometimes you run out of days, and I try to juggle. Sometimes it's a real juggling this massive series with all these shows and all the work we put into it with my daytime work that pulls me in TV and radio. But we love it. We're doing it somehow together with you and our great guests. We've made a lot of magic here on the Jim Masters Show live series. And I thank all of you who've helped in that regard. Those of you who have also suggested guests, those of you who send guests our way. I find guests, a lot of the guests come on the show. They love it so much. Then they tell their friends and they come on the show. And it's just one very, very happy, incredible thing. And thank you for that. Lisa Rodrigo's here. Good to see you, Lisa. Lovely Lisa. She says, thank you, Jim. Thank you as well. Yes, love and positive vibes to all. Thank you, Lisa. You've been with us for a long time. We love having you here as well. And Kathleen's going to be here for our second show. We call this double levity when we have more than one show. It's been a while since we had more than one show. And Chris says, take care, everyone. Tell your family and friends you love them just because. And blessings to you and your family. I think your dad has had some health issues, or the birthday. We send levity to your dad as well, Chris, Levity Chris in Ireland. Kathleen in New York City says, Jim, my thoughts and prayers and love are always with you. Thank you, Kathleen. You as well. And thanks, gang. You guys are fantastic. We glad everything went well. Let's take a look there. Was at the hospital last Monday for... Oh, terrific, Chris. I'm glad. Yeah. You've got a lot of levity coming from the United States and around the world from all your levity friends here at the Jim Masters Show. So, gang, thanks for being with us again. Thanks for joining us as we, again, we've tackled a lot of different things here on the show, but again, as we remember Lisa Marie Presley, and we really appreciate you joining us for this special remembrance. We sort of put this together quickly. We were deciding, should we do a show? Should we not? And I said, absolutely. Let's bring people together in love and remembrance. And our show does that all the time anyway. We even celebrated the life of the amazing Whitney Houston, who was revered and missed as well, and so many others right here on the Jim Masters Show. Gang, we love you all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Help us continue to grow. Hit this button. There's a thumbs up button on our YouTube channel. Click the thumbs up. We would love that. That helps us grow. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel for us as well, not just in the chat room, but leave an actual comment on the YouTube channel. That helps us grow. And again, we would love it if you subscribe. Click that red button. It's either red or on some computers it's black, but it says the word subscribe. Click it. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe to be a part of the Jim Masters Show Live Levity Squad. It's just lets us know that you're enjoying what we're doing. You know what I mean? And you're having a good time with all of us. A couple more comments. We're going to scoot out. We got to eat. And Merlin's going to see us later on as well. She's going to probably have a bite of food. She's probably going to make that famous bologna sandwich she does on white bread. Merlin's famous bologna sandwich on white bread. I'm sure she's going to have that. You've been taking down Christmas decorations. Yeah, you notice. Well, now it's like 14th, so we had to take down, the one. But we had ours here on set longer than normal. Last week we kept them on throughout because we still wanted to celebrate the holiday spirit and in the new year. So let's keep that Christmas spirit alive, even when it's not Christmas, and that Happy New Year spirit alive, even when it's not New Year's, even when the decorations aren't there. Let's keep that, in our hearts and share it with the world, because the world is hurting. The world can use a bit of it, And again, not trying to sound Pollyanna or any of that, but, our world can use some niceness. Don't forget, gang, to relax, take care of one another, love one another. We say that all the time here on JMS. This was something I got in Newport, Rhode Island on a family vacation. It was in the window. I said, this is so cool. And we show it on the show. Also, we don't say goodbye. We say, see you later. Ciao, cheers, slancha, muy loop, hasta la vista, buenas noches. We say, slancha. We say, take care, shalom, hasta la vista, auf Wiedersehen, cheerio, cheers. Take care and be well. We'll be back for the next show. And for those of you who are going to join us at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, for country music star, Nashville recording artist Sam Lowe will be here. Going to have some dinner right now in between and dust off a little bit. And haven't eaten at all today. Didn't even have time for breakfast because I had to get to the TV studio for the television news broadcast and interview that I did professionally. So I didn't have time to eat yet. We're going to do that now. And then, and we'll be here. And don't forget, you can binge watch all the episodes on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So if you missed anything, or even if you joined this special episode of our series today, if you missed anything, you can see it again right here on our YouTube channel. Maureen says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. What the world needs now is levity, sweet levity. Good way to wrap. I agree, Maureen. I agree. And so does mini me, Mr. Levity. We both agree. And so does George Burns. Thank you, Chris, and beautiful Northern Ireland. Hope you enjoy your meal. Thank you very much. And thanks for being here from Northern Ireland as well. Nice to have an afternoon show on a Saturday. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on the Jim Masters Show. Tell a friend about our show. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Of course, our Facebook group, the Jim Masters Show, Levity Hall as well. And you'll find all the episodes on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. That's a wrap. Take care. Be well. We'll see you on the next episode. We love you all. Thanks for being with us. Hopefully you got something from this episode and you get something from all the episodes, whatever it may be. Hopefully it's something that you can take with you throughout the rest of your day. You be well, all right? I'll be here, right here, waiting for you in Levity Hall, sitting in this host chair And we'll have some more fun together in the next episode. Take care and be well. And thanks again for joining us for this very special, special episode. We thank Wayne Scot Lukas, and we thank all of you. I'm Jim Masters, your host, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time on the Jim Masters Show. Be well and take care. Love you all. Cheers.